right, you know what time it is. Neil Ratner, Rock Doc here with a story. Greg Allman would have celebrated his birthday this past week, so today I thought I'd tell you a few things about Greg Allman that you might not know. And as usual, a little background first. So believe it or not, if Greg had not devoted his life to music, he would have become a dentist. But two events changed his mind and drove him into a career in music. The first was a concert that he and Dwayne went to in 1960 when they were living with their mother in Nashville that featured Jackie Wilson headlining alongside Otis Redding, B.B. King, and Patti LaBelle. Wow, what a great bill that was. Jackie Wilson would have loved to have seen him. All right, Mr. Excitement. The second event involved a neighbor named Jimmy Barnes. Now, according to Greg, there was a guy that lived across the street from my grandma. He was mentally challenged. He was outside painting a 1948 Packard limo with a paintbrush. His name was Jimmy Barnes. I went over there and said, "Hey, Jimmy, what you got up there on the porch?" He said, "Oh, that's my guitar." I was just enchanted by it. I'd never been that close to one. I said, "Well, can you play it?" He said, "It wouldn't be up there if I didn't play it." I said, "Well, come up here and play me something." He put the paintbrush down and came up and played "She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain." And I thought, man, if this guy can do this, by God, I can too. All right, now, during the early 60s, the brothers formed their first real band called the Escorts, which performed a mix of top 40 and R&B at clubs around town. Now, Dwayne, who took the lead vocal role on early demos, didn't really love singing, encouraged his younger brother to sing instead, and we know that Greg did become the singer. Now, the group performed constantly as music became their entire focus, even causing Greg to miss his high school graduation because he was performing that evening. All right, now, by 1965, the United States had become seriously involved in the Vietnam War. Now, Dwayne was exempt from the draft since he was the oldest son of a fatherless household. The brother's father had been shot and killed the day after Christmas 1949 when the boys were quite young. And their mother never remarried. But Greg, on the other hand, was 18 and draft eligible. I know the feeling because I was there too. Now, both brothers were very anti-Vietnam War. And Dwayne came up with an idea, and he told his little brother that their best solution was to just shoot a bullet through your foot. Now, of course, Greg thought he was joking until the night before his physical. Dwayne invited some friends and some girls over for a foot shooting party. Dwayne got Greg all hopped up on whiskey and speed, and they painted a bullseye on Greg's left moccasin. Now, when faced with the actual prospect of shooting himself in the foot, Greg quickly had second thoughts, but more whiskey, and he called for an ambulance. And as soon as he could hear the sirens off in the distance, he pulled the trigger. And when Greg showed up to his evaluation the next day on crutches and with bandages wrapped around his foot, he was quickly disqualified. Might sound like a crazy story, but back in the day, that was a known thing. And you know, I even considered doing that. I didn't do it. If you read my book, you'll see how it ended up for me. I was able to get out in a different way. But a lot of people were talking about that, and I guess some people actually did it. All right. Now, one of the important contributions that Greg, Dwayne, and the Allman Brothers Band gave to music was the idea to try everything. Greg put it this way: "We were like Lewis and Clark, man. We were musical adventurers, explorers." Think about the Allman Brothers. 2 and even 3 drummers, 2 lead guitarists, combining rock with blues and even jazz. Now, Greg Allman experimented, as we all know, in his personal life as well, marrying 7 times, and famously one of those was Cher for a few years, as we know. Now, not being afraid to try something new or shake things up or strike out in a new direction was definitely an approach that helped Greg Allman live a full and fulfilled life. And as he said in 2012, if I fell over dead right now, I've led some kind of life. Yeah, the late great Greg Allman. Lots and lots of good music to listen to. I got to meet Greg a couple of times when I was with both Edgar Winter and ELP. We played with the Allman Brothers. I didn't get very friendly. We exchanged words here and there. And of course, I was at the Fillmore closing night of the Fillmore East when the Allman Brothers closed the show. And then there was a big party at the Fifth Avenue Hotel or something. At any rate, the late, great Greg Allman, the Allman Brothers Band, one of the greatest that we ever had. All right. That's my story. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll have more stories as the weekend and the week goes on. And as I like to tell you, always remember to keep on rocking. All right. I'll see you somewhere real soon.